Panthers and Rangers return to Madison Square Garden for game number 5. Guys, the series all tied up at 2 games apiece. We'll break down that game. Also look at the updated future prices, Conn Smythe prices, and much more right here on PuckTime. I'm Andrew, and of course, I have Carmine with me to break down this game. We hope you all had a profitable Wednesday night in the NHL as both teams, Carm, kind of playing the same pathway here, as we've saw the Edmonton Oilers tie things up in their series. So both series now in the East and the West tied up at 2. Now, the NHL is not like the NBA. Okay, I know there's been some injuries. We've got some really close series. You're not going to see a sweep in the NHL in the conference final. It's way too competitive. I love it. And it looks like we might see at least game 6 and definitely maybe some game 7s here, Carm. What do you think? What a great series we have here in the East tonight as it goes back to New York.
I'm perfectly happy with 2 game 7s, Andrew, and we know we're getting to 6 in both, so it's not a stretch to see game 7s in either one. Like, what better than we talked about four good teams? What better than to have like a game 7, whether it's a game 7 in Dallas, a game 7 in New York at Madison Square Garden? I think it be absolutely fantastic. We'll see how it shakes out in the end, Andrew. But as far as tonight's game goes, um, we saw it. I mean, I was willing to draw a line through that game 3, a high scoring game, 5-4, goes to overtime. I just couldn't understand how there were so many goals scored in that game. And the analytics at least back the fact that it shouldn't have been a high scoring game. I came up with a bet on the under in game 4. I'm pretty happy with it. 3 or 4 games in the series have stayed under the total. You look um, at Florida. I think their last 4 games on the road have all stayed under the total as well too, averaging 3.5 total goals scored in those games. Both games in New York, games 1 and 2, 3-goal games in both. So chalk up game 3 to just random luck on and over. I think if you had the under in that game, it was probably the right play. I think taking the under in every single game in this series, and that includes the dreaded elimination games, Andrew, that I know you love, for some scoring. I just don't see it. They've done a great job, the Florida that is, of shutting down that number 1 line, Zibanejad, Kreider. Any of the scoring is coming from the Rangers is coming from that second line, Trocheck, Lafreniere, who's having a very good playoffs, man. This guy could have scored and could have changed how that game went, how that game 4 went. But they're doing a very good job of shutting them down. That's what Florida did last year in their run to the playoffs, and they're doing it again. Um, I think you have to lean on Florida here. The books are making you pay for Florida tonight, which is a bit of a surprise. I thought this was going to be like 110 both ways when the number came out. And then I see Florida at minus 125. I'm like, oh man, okay. Um, I know it doesn't sound like much, guys, if you're for those of you tuning in, but I'd rather lay 10 on anybody who practices bankroll management or does this as a living as opposed to as a hobby would rather pay 110 than 125. It just makes absolute sense. I'm going with Florida here, Andrew. They've got a bit of a momentum going. Everything could have been against them in that 4th game. They needed to win that game. They won that game. Now they're heading back to New York, where they played 2 very good games. Shut them out in the first. Second game went to OT. I think they've been the better team in all 4 games. Sorry, Ranger fans. It's just true. You guys haven't played up to 100%. If you play your best, it's good enough. It's good enough to beat Florida, but they haven't done it. Andrew, I just haven't seen the Rangers play their best game. And I don't know if it's them or just Florida makes you look like you're not playing your best game. That said, obviously the better goalie is in New York with Shesterkin. I'd rather have Shesterkin in goal than Bobrovsky, but Bobrovsky's a very good goalie in his own right. Give me the Florida Panthers tonight. Florida, I'm going to try and find the cheapest price I can get on them, but I do like the Panthers tonight.
Yeah, Carmen, I saw the early openers showed minus 115 for Florida, and then of course it just jet off to minus 120, and then the most spots now showing us minus 125s. Pinnacle is floating around minus 120 still. But yeah, as you mentioned, the respect the Florida Panthers are getting from the marketplace, and I think that we spoke about it, how the Panthers deserve to win probably game 3, and they didn't. And then they go ahead and actually end up winning game 4 and tying the series up and evening things up here. The way you started it, though, Carm, the way you started your discussion is kind of the way I really agree with you, is the fact that this series, especially shifting back to MSG, shifting back to New York, getting the last change opportunity, playing in front of their home crowd, to me, the only way this team is successful, I've realized, is unders. If you told me this game finished 5-3 tonight, I would tell you Florida won. If you told me it finished 4-1, I would tell you Florida won. If you told me it finished 6-2, I would tell you Florida won it. If you told me tonight's game finished 2-1, empty net goal made it 3-1, I would tell you the New York Rangers were the team that won tonight's game. Look, these guys, they haven't been playing their best. They have been getting shut down, the top players, and that's definitely a problem. But I think that we've all realized that with the pace the Panthers play at, the way they get behind the defenseman, they can work from behind the net and create chances. New York needs to make this a very, very boring and low event type of game. I'm not saying they don't have the same skill, but I feel like people are forgetting the talent of the Panthers. The shot that Reinhardt had that went off the bar and down, perfect shot. For Hagee out there doing what he always does. Barkov is having himself a great playoffs. I mentioned him last show, plus 190, power play point. The power play points will be good for both these teams, even if I do expect a low scoring game. So here's what I found here, Carm. I do like the under 5.5. I kind of lean towards the same side as you, but I found this really interesting. If the game stays low scoring, I am actually a full believer that the game could be 2-2 and the next goal wins, or it could be 2-1 for Florida and then an empty net happens. Or we could see the Rangers come out and have their best performance of the series because they haven't deserved to win the last 2 games. I kind of like goals against under 2.5 for Igor Shesterkin at plus 110. The Rangers haven't been the best team in this series. They haven't looked great over their last couple games. But I think this is the best game we're going to see from the New York Rangers. I think out of both the series, Edmonton and Dallas, I actually have more faith this series goes 7 games than I do with the other series, although both of them, with how tight these matchups are, they have the potential to go 7. I like the full game under, Carm. Small lean to that plus money. I like that plus 110 on Shesterkin under 2.5 goals against. It takes away the empty net factor. You're just worrying about the goaltender in itself. And we'll get to the props in a second, Carm, but I wanted to mention before I throw it to you, you talked about Zibanejad not playing well, Kreider not playing well, that top line. Zibanejad under 0.5 point, so to not score a point has hit in 4 of his last 5 games. That price is plus 140. And as far as Chris Kreider, 4 of his last 5 games without a point, that's plus 105. And I'm not sure if you guys out there, and Carm, if you saw the quote from Matthew Tkachuk when Kreider took the mouthguard out of his mouth and threw it away. Tkachuk said to the media that was the most impact he had on the game all night. Said he wasn't doing much. That's all he's been doing to contribute. So the Rangers need a big night tonight, man. And I'm thinking we're going to see it as far as their defense goes, at least. So I'm really locked in on unders for tonight.
Andrew, listen, I get it. I mean, again, we're not disparaging the New York Rangers. I think we're looking at Florida's just playing extremely well. You can't discount the fact that the Rangers only lost 11 games at home during the regular season. and have dropped, I think, only 2 in the playoffs, one to Carolina and game 1 against Florida. 13 games at home all season long, this team has lost. That is a fantastic home record, and it's why they won the President's Trophy. It's why they're within 2 wins, as are Florida, of making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So um, I don't believe for a minute that Florida is going to go in there and roll them. I think, as you said, I think it's going to be another tight game. I just think that Florida's experience and the fact that they've been able to shut down top lines is what's fueling this team on their playoff run, and they've got that experience from making that run last year. The leaders are the guys, Andrew. Like to Chuck, the guys in the dressing room, on the ice, that make this team, and that's what he does. They win their game. He's got his team heading to the dressing room right away, and it's like, let's go, guys. Let's start prepping for the next game. You want to see that. I want to see the guys from the Rangers show up tonight. I want to see Zibanejad. I want to see Panarin out there, and Kreider, doing what they do, what they've done all season long. They got to find a way through they got to find some cracks in this Florida defense. Do they find enough uh, to get the win tonight? Or that's why they play the games, man. We're gonna have to wait and see. But my lean is Florida here. I just don't like the price, Andrew. And I'm looking across the WagerTalk live lines, and I mentioned to you guys, to always look at it. Andrew, as you mentioned, that line opened up at 115. Across the board, the cheapest price you can find on the WagerTalk live lines is at the sports book at Westgate, minus 120. Circa's got it at 124. Everyone else has got it, in that 125 range, and bookmakers hiked it up a bit to like 127. The total is taking the most of the action. It is now at some places, it's 5.5 under 40 is the VIG. Our consensus is at minus 35. Andrew, if they keep pounding this under, does this line go to like 5 plus 120 on the over? Because that's the next step from minus 40 or minus 45 on the under. Normally, it's the next step from minus 40. The next step is it goes down half a goal. We see a 5, and it's plus money on the over. Or sorry, no, minus money on the over. So like minus 125, minus 120 on the over. That's the next step. So if you like the under, you might as well take it now, because I don't see that price improving, and you could lose half a goal in this one. And as you said, Andrew, a 2-2 game that goes to OT makes that under a winner. If you got 5.5, it's a push. Obviously, the math checks out. If you're taking a 5, I would stay off of 5. I would only take the 5 if you like the over. If you like the over, then wait for this number to drop to 5 and bet the over.
I can't remember the last time we saw 5, Carm. I know we have seen them out there in the past. I can't remember the last time we saw them, but I think, you know what? The time that we might have seen them the most is during the playoffs. The type of hockey we're talking about right now, and you mentioned there's only one way this is getting bet right now, and that's the under. People really like the under in this game. And speaking of unders, Carm, a lot of times under means, well, a lot of good saves, but it also means fewer shots on goal. So as of right now, here's an updated number, a couple guys to look out for as far as this series as a whole, as we approach game 5, that have not been shooting the puck very often. Chris Kreider, under 2.5 shots on goal, minus 125. Aaron Ekblad, under 1.5 shots on goal, minus 115. Sam Bennett, under 2.5 shots on goal. A little bit pricey, but a really good bet, minus 155. And Zibanejad, that's the one that Andy Lang loves. 7 of his last 10 games, he has under 2.5 shots on goal. And the weird thing is, Carm, they haven't changed the price on it. It's still minus 120. So just a few guys for me. And, Panarin, I think he probably would be my only guy that I'd be really interested in looking at the over. Trocheck scored that really nice goal for the Rangers. He's been a guy going over, Carm. But I really think that those are bets that we have to start looking at more, is just looking at the unders here. couple of bets I've been looking at a little bit more than I used to, Carm. This, I think I talked about this with you on the last show, but blocked shots in the playoffs, especially with that Dallas and Oilers series, it's a good one. But you can get over 2.5 block shots for Adam Fox at plus 105. That's hitting at a pretty good clip. Gustav Forsling, you can get him over 1.5 block shots at just minus 105. And Mikola over 1.5 block shots at minus 113. That's the thing. I mean, you hear us talk about during the end of the regular season why we like betting overs a lot more. And Carm says it. He's like, hey, these guys have vacation in 2 days. They don't want to block shots. You know, they're out of the playoffs. They've been out of the playoffs for 2 months. These guys are in the conference finals. They want to block shots. And Carm, the block shots numbers, it seems like they go up by 20 once the playoffs start. So a couple of those that I'm interested in. I would say my best bet as far as those props are concerned would be the Adam Fox over 2.5 block shots. And with those particular props, it's really nice to be able to get a plus 105 number on it. And you also want a guy that's getting a lot of ice time. If they're out there for quite some time, obviously the more opportunities and the better chances to get those block shots. But Carm, unders for me here. And I'm actually going to miss the first period of tonight's game. So when I go and check the score after when I leave my commitment, I'm going to be able to check it. I'm just going to be checking the stats. Okay, how are my players? Are they going unders? So if I check the game and it's like 3-0 after the first period and everybody has 3 shots, I might not even watch the rest of the game. I'll just stop.
And I get it. You talked about Zibanejad's shot totals and 7 of his last 10 he stayed like under the number. I talked about I think it was in the last game. I talked about he's got like a bunch of ones and twos. He had 3 in his last game, but he's just not getting pucks on net. And then the first time I checked his shot, I think it was at the end of this or halfway through the second period, he had like 6. Like, where did this guy get 6 shots on goal from? Right? It just those plays sometimes. Unfortunately, these prop plays will blow up in your face. That one did. I want to touch, Andrew, before we finish off on this game. I want to touch on yesterday's game because another great game. Congrats to Prez, who had a 5% play on the Oilers. He was blowing up our phones when it was 2-0 for Dallas in that game. But you got to give credit to the Edmonton Oilers. 5 straight goals, including my favorite, the empty netter, because I had a 4% play on the over 6. So I was pretty happy about that. But when you get 4 goals in the first period, it should be a no sweat total, but they made you sweat. And then, I see on social media, Andrew, and this is why, at times social media can be just the takes are terrible. People talking about like Connor McDavid. Oh, he's having a bad series. He's having a bad playoffs because they expect him to score. He's got 4 goals in the playoffs. But you know what else he has? He has 24 assists. The guy's got 28 points, leads the league in scoring in the playoffs. And that's not good enough for people because he's not scoring. Have you thought about the fact that it seems to be like even with the speed that he has, there's a couple guys on him, and his job is just to find a guy who is open, who has got a better chance to score. That's what McDavid's doing. 3 assists last night, 24 assists thus far, 28 points. Got to stop with the Connor McDavid chatter that you pay a premium on him or for his points or what have you. Of course, you're going to pay a premium on him. He's the best player in the league right now, arguably the best player. You can make points for other guys, but he's having a great playoffs. And Andrew, I think we'd love to see him in the Stanley Cup Finals, win or lose. But I think the Jamie Benn and the Dallas Stars have something to say about that. Game 5 is going to be epic.
It's going to be great. Going back to Dallas, of course, and what a series, Carm. Honestly, I love when a team can take a punch right to the face and just come back and fight back. And the thing is, the Oilers, they didn't wait until they came out in the second period and responded. No, they didn't want to wait that long. They responded in the first period. They went down early. It was down 2-0. It wasn't looking good. Oilers fans, Oilers bettors were not happy, and they end up coming back in the game, not just in the first period, but in the next 5 to 10 minutes after that happened. And to me, that was really impressive, Carm. That's to me what was really impressive. When the Dallas Stars were down the previous game, they came out strong in the second period and scored 3 goals. The Edmonton Oilers, they didn't wait until the second period. They got the job done in the first period with that comeback. It was super exciting. And I'll tell you what, if you're a fan of betting these top-notch players, well, right now, people that are trends bettors in the Edmonton and Dallas series are just having a dream, because Wyatt Johnston just continues to score. McDavid over 1.5 points seems to be the best bet on the board consistently. Draisaitl power play point is hitting like 90% of the time right now. And Zach Hyman continues to play well as well. Carm, we're seeing updated numbers right now, plus 235 for the Panthers, 255 for the Dallas Stars, Oilers 275, Rangers plus 370 is what I'm seeing here. Funny enough, actually, right underneath that, I'm seeing odds for the next season. And then we've got our good buddy Jake Ottinger 6-1 as far as the Conn Smythe Trophy. McDavid plus 550, Shesterkin plus 500. And Barkov is now the leader at plus 750 as far as the Conn Smythe Trophy for the Panthers. So that's the biggest shift. That's the biggest shift we've seen. At first, Bobrovsky, Shesterkin, Ottinger, pretty much it was going to be, unless Edmonton won the cup, it was going to be a goalie that won the Conn Smythe Trophy. Well, Barkov said, hey, watch out now. I'm the captain. Get me in this series, and he's done a great job as well. So now he is the favorited Florida Panther to win it. So for everybody out there right now, what the odds makers are telling you here, Barkov plus 750 to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, Panthers plus 235. Carm, you could sprinkle on both Barkov and Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe, and you're still getting a hell of a lot better of a price than the plus 235 they're giving you to win the Stanley Cup. Any thoughts for you before we close the show on futures for the NHL?
Yeah, I look at the prices, Andrew, and I just can't help but think, because I think about last year's run to the Stanley Cup Finals from the Florida Panthers and the run that they're making to it, whether they get there or not, and if they do, whether they win it or not. But like, how about Keith's kid? How about Matthew? What's wrong with Matthew Tkachuk at plus 950? I'm all about the guy who's the leader on the ice. Maybe they don't always get the points, but he still gets his share. He gets under their skin. He gets in front of the net. He gets his points. He gets some big ones at times. You got plus 950. It's worth. I'm not saying go out and smash Matthew Tkachuk in the Conn Smythe awards thing there, but maybe drop I'm Italian, drop that slice of pizza on there, man. A couple slices. Let's go. Uh, could put a couple on there. Plus 950 just seems awfully attractive. But again, in order to cash that ticket, they got to get back to the Rangers, number one. And then they got to get by either the Dallas Stars or the Edmonton Oilers in the second one. But of the three, Andrew, opponents they have, I actually think the Rangers are the toughest of the three opponents. I think getting through the Rangers would be a lot tougher than getting through the Oilers or getting through the Dallas Stars. That's my opinion. Whether it's popular or not, that's the way I look at it. Sorry, Stars fans. I love you guys. Sorry, Oiler fans, and Canadian fans, of course. But Matthew Tkachuk plus 950. After the show's over, I'm going to put a couple slices on him, Andrew.
Carmen, is that just due to the matchup? You just think this Eastern Conference matchup is tougher for Florida than Dallas or Edmonton are?
Yeah, I think so. Florida's going to have If it's the Dallas Stars, Dallas will have. If it was Dallas and Florida, I believe Dallas has home ice. Correct me if I'm wrong in that one. And if it's the Edmonton Oilers and Florida, then then I think the Florida Panthers have home ice. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys in the chat, and let me know. And of course,
New
if it
York
is the
had
Rangers versus either one of
they
those
won the
two, it's the Rangers who have home ice throughout the playoffs.
yeah, because they won the President's Trophy, right? So doesn't that mean that they had the most points in the league?
Yeah, the
So
Rangers did. The Rangers won the
yeah,
so the Rangers
so
will
they'll
have
have
home
home
ice
ice.
throughout, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Florida. I
Oh
believe
yeah.
that I think Dallas finished with more points than Florida, but Florida finished with more than Edmonton. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a message in the chat afterwards, but I'm pretty sure that that's where we stand as far as that one goes.
Well, Carm, I'm excited, and I'll continue to tell people, if you want to get in on the futures market right now, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner is the best way to do it. You can still make money on some of these guys, and Carm, I'll tell you what. And you want to live in the moment, because this price was a hell of a lot better than it is right now. But how is Wyatt Johnston still 20-1? I mean, to me, Wyatt Johnston, if you look at it, Jake Ottinger has always been the guy for me for the Dallas Stars. He's been the guy. But at his age and for the ice time he gets, what Wyatt Johnston has brought to the Dallas Stars at 20-1, if Dallas wins the next game, that price drops. If he scores another goal and they win that game, that price drops. To me, Wyatt Johnston is a really, really good look. The fact of the matter is, his number is 20-1, and we're taking a look at guys like Heiskanen at 9-1. I don't see a defenseman winning with this class, because on certain teams like Dallas, it's either going to be a forward that really stepped up, or it's going to be their goaltender that played extremely well. I think it takes a hell of a lot for them to give the award for a defenseman. Wyatt Johnston 20-1 is my sprinkle. Carm likes Kachuk at a really good price there. So those would be our two sprinkles there. We got Kachuk. You can get close to 10-1 on that one. And then, of course, the Wyatt Johnston 20-1. Carm, anything for you tonight? Anything else to worth mentioning? And if not, what do you have going on for clients?
I want to, first of all, I'm loving some of the chat that we're having today. I want to welcome some of the guys into it. Fortnite, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back, Mike Lawson. Those guys are in the YouTube, I think, Shorts one. Russell, of course. Nebraska knows. The boss was in there. Nick's in there. Russell's like, this damn President's Trophy thing is jinxed. He absolutely hates the President's Trophy. But yeah, so so the Rangers finished with 114 points, 113 for Dallas, and then Florida was next, and then Edmonton. So Rangers would have home ice throughout. Florida would have home ice over the Oilers, I believe, only, and Dallas would have home ice over Florida if we're going by points as far as that goes. I'm going to have a contest up. So we're going to do a contest for tonight's game. Do not, if you guys are listening, please, to this live one, don't put it in the live chat. Put it in the comment section. As soon as we go off air, this this video is posted and the comment section is then opened. You can drop it in there. Let us know who wins tonight and what the final score is. Now, if you get it right, you don't win a T-shirt. I'm going to pick somebody out of all the people who respond in the comment section once this video is posted. Russell, I'm going to tell you right now, because you're a Rangers fan, you are disqualified from taking part in this contest, because I am giving you a PuckTime jersey, so a T-shirt. So reach
Wow.
out to me on Twitter, send me a DM. I'm going to get one over to you, man. You've been with us all season long. You are a diehard. Just let me know what size you want, and I will get you a PuckTime T-shirt out to you. It'll be a Goldfish T-shirt. For the rest of you, just drop a comment in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed, do one there as well. Andrew, since we talked about this game, let's talk about what we have up at WagerTalk. Right now, guys, one baseball play up for clients. It's part of the All Access package. 4% best bet in tonight's NHL game. No props. We're going to try and go back to back with a couple of big 4% winners in the playoffs. And then a Champions League card, which is up for Saturday. Wembley Stadium, Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid. I do this every year. I put up a play and a whole bunch of prop bets in one package. And as a thank you to the customers, it's only $1. It's the cheapest package you're going to get at WagerTalk. And it's a thank you to you guys. And hopefully we make some money and then you guys can follow along for the summer Euro tournaments. Really looking forward to those tournaments. I'm off to Vegas June 19th, Andrew. So I'll probably watch some Stanley Cup action in Vegas if it's still going on by that time.
Not a bad place to be. Not a bad place to be at all, to cash some tickets across the board, on the ice, on the pitch. Yeah, man, I wish I was joining you, Carm. I don't think I'll be making it out this summer. I'm going to Vegas for a bachelor party in about half a year. So that's going to be all I need for my Vegas trips, I think, for the next little while. But Carm, I'm super excited for this weekend. Actually, there's a massive UFC betting card. I can't wait. Pay-per-view, Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. I've got a big 5% play being loaded today, this afternoon, on the UFC card. So you guys can check that out in about 2 hours' time. Get my favorite play. And within that package as well, you can also get everything else I have to offer. Best bet going this afternoon in the MLB. A few prop plays for tonight's NHL game, but you guys already heard all my bets in the NHL for tonight. And as far as the CFL, guys, code AMCFL. You guys can use that code to take $50 off. AMCFL. Take $50 off my early bird package. And guys, do not forget, it is $2 Thursday over at sportsmemo.com. We've got Cajun Sports on a crazy 20-2 MLB run, so do not miss out on that. Make sure you as well, not just heading over to wagertalk.com, but you're also heading over to sportsmemo.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Carm and I love doing this show. As you know, if you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and guys, let's make some money tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.